What is happening in Traviso right now? Is it still a hot destination for home buyers? Is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? All of these questions will be answered in this video. This is a market update with a focus on what's going on in Traviso right now, as well as what's going on in the greater Austin market and what's going on nationally. They are all interlinked and they affect what's going on in Traviso, and we'll get into all of that in this video. Let's get started with the market update. There are currently 56 active listings on the market. The lowest listing price is $479,900 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home with 1,911 square feet. And the highest listing price is $2,250,000 for a Toll Brothers inventory home within the Verona collection. The average listing price is $1,034,471 for a 4-bedroom home with 4.5 bathrooms and 3,862 square feet. Now, in 1 minute, we're going to compare the average listing price to the average sales price, and that's going to let us know exactly what's going on. However, continuing with the market update, the average days on the market is 91 days, and this is a tricky statistic. This is the average days that the home is on the MLS, 91 days. That doesn't necessarily mean that it takes 91 days to sell your home. It means that the average listing is on the MLS for 91 days, while some homes sell and some don't, and they're taken off of the market. Right now, there are only 9 pending sales within Traviso, and the average pending property is a 4-bedroom home with 3.5 bathrooms built in 2022, and that home has 3,253 square feet on average. And the average pending sale price is $897,845. And this means that buyers right now are getting good deals and they are focused more on the lower price points. In the last 3 months, there have been 33 closings. Keep in mind that this does not include to-be-built homes, because a to-be-built home, a home that's built from the ground up, does not get entered into the MLS, so those homes are not going to show up in these statistics. Now, of the 33 homes that have sold, 23 of them were new construction, which is about 70% of the home sales. And when I say new construction, I'm talking about inventory homes. And that means that only 30% of the recent home sales within Traviso were resale properties. The average closed home has 5 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms. It's built in 2024, and it has almost 4,000 square feet. 3,993 square feet to be exact. And the average sales price is $921,000. So when we compare this with the average listing price of homes that are currently on the market, which is $1,034,471, unfortunately, it becomes clear that most homes are priced too high. Now, if we step back and we get rid of all of the emotions, we just take the emotions out of the equation, and we just look at the numbers overall, it's pretty clear. Most of the homes that are currently on the market in Traviso are overpriced. They are priced to test the market, but they are not priced to compete against new construction, and they are not priced to sell. Now, overall, we know that buyers prefer new construction to resale, especially in Traviso. It's actually one of the main reasons why so many buyers flock to Traviso. You can get a brand new home in a beautiful setting, and due to the market, builders are giving some incredible incentives right now, which makes it very difficult for resale properties to compete. And in order to compete with the builders in today's slower market, resale properties need to be priced so that they attract buyers over new construction. But we're not seeing that currently. For the 11 resale properties that have sold over the last 3 months, the average home had 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, 3,272 square feet, with an average listing price of $866,441. So as you can see, by the statistics on the 11 resale properties that sold and what the average listing price was, $866,441. The homes that want to sell are pricing the way they need to in order to get them to sell. They're pricing well below what their competition is listed at. Here's what all of this data is telling us. If you're a buyer, new construction is where most of the home sales are happening. Builders are giving incredible incentives right now, which is helping to lower the cost of the home and also lower the monthly mortgage payments through lender incentives. Now, this is a huge win for buyers. For home sellers in Traviso, not only are you competing against new construction, but you're also competing against other homes within Traviso and also homes in other communities. Buyers aren't necessarily married to Traviso. Buyers who are looking in Traviso are also considering other communities like Crystal Falls, Hidden Creeks, Leander Estates, and so many others. And you really need to give them a compelling reason to choose your home, and that usually starts with the listing price. All right, that's a snapshot of what's going on in Traviso, but as you know, it's affected by what's going on in the greater Austin market as a whole. So let's take a look at what's going on within the Austin market right now. According to ChatGPT and Gemini, Austin is still a relocation destination, coming in at number 1 in the US according to Bank of America Institute, and number 3 in the US according to One-Way U-Haul Trips. We still have more people moving into the Austin metro compared to people who are leaving. The growth rate is at 1.5% over the last year, which is much slower compared to what it was back in 2021 and 2022, but it's still a good growth rate. So where are all these people coming from and where are they going to? Here are the top 5 areas where people are coming from. Number 1 is Houston, Texas, followed by Dallas, Fort Worth, then Southern California, which includes areas like Los Angeles and San Diego. Number 4 is San Antonio. And number 5 is the San Francisco Bay Area. Based on online searches, most of the home searches for Austin outside of Texas are happening along the coasts. So the searches for people who are looking at homes in the Austin area are people in California and also the Northeast. So people in areas like New York, New Jersey, Washington, D.C., and Chicago are searching for homes in Austin, which would indicate that they are interested in moving here, but they're waiting for the right time. The data shows that there is interest, but they're not yet taking action. And for people who are leaving Austin, here are the top 5 areas where they are moving to. People are leaving Austin to move to Dallas, Fort Worth, followed by Houston, Texas, and then San Antonio, Texas. And then they're moving up north to Killeen and Temple. And then in 5th place, people are leaving the Austin area to move to Denver, Colorado. But as you can see, most home sellers are staying within the state of Texas. And now let's take a deeper look into the Austin market. This is going to be one of the most important charts that I show you. If you go onto Redfin's data center and you look up the buyer versus seller dynamic report and filter it to Austin, Texas, it'll give you a graph that shows you the number of current buyers versus the number of current listings on the market. And as you can see right now, there are 7,555 active buyers versus 17,259 listings on the market. And let's do a quick thought experiment. Let's imagine that every buyer found their dream home today and they bought it. That would mean that there would be about 10,000 homes still on the market with no more buyers. So what does this mean for home buyers and for home sellers? Well, home buyers have a lot of options and they are not in a hurry to make a decision. Austin is currently a buyer's market right now, so buyers have the negotiating advantage. Homes are being sold under the listing price. If you are a buyer, you don't have to be in a rush. Make sure that you find the right property and be absolutely certain that you negotiate the best deal possible for yourself. For sellers, as you know now, there is a lot of competition for the few buyers that are in the market. We are no longer in the type of market where you can just put your house on the MLS and expect it to sell. The homes that are priced right and are in good condition are usually the ones that are selling. And unfortunately, there are so many homes that go unsold and are then taken off of the market. So if you are somebody that is thinking about selling, you really need to price your home at the lower end of that spectrum. So if you are going to meet with a realtor, they're going to give you a range. They might say, for example, in Traviso, where homes average about $1 million, they might say your home is worth $1 million on the lower end and 1.1 on the high end. And as a seller, you're going to be tempted to say, well, let's list my house at 1.1. Well, in this market, you're testing the market, and what usually ends up happening is the home sits on the market for 90 plus days and then it doesn't sell and it's taken off the market. You really need to focus on listing your home to sell if that is the true intent. If you want to sell your home in this market, you have to price your home at the very bottom end of that range. So the right price in today's market, if you're given a range of $1 million up to 1.1 million, should be right at $1 million. All right, now let's move on. Let's take a look at the market on a national level. However, let's keep the focus on how it's affecting us here locally. Home prices on a national level are actually going up, but that's not what's happening here in Austin. Home prices in Austin have been coming down for the last 3.5 years. In Travis County, since the market peaked in June of 2022, home prices have dropped by 24%. So I want you to let that sink in. If you have a home that was worth $1 million in the last couple of years, it's dropped by 24%. Your $1 million home now is worth $750,000 just about. Now, the average home price in June 2022 was $650,000 within Travis County, and now it's worth $496,000. That's the average. In Williamson County, home prices have dropped by 20%. The average home price at the peak of the market was $515,000, and now it's $410,000. So what does this mean? Well, it could mean that as home prices in other areas continue to go up and home prices in Austin continue to come down, the price difference may attract more buyers, especially relocation buyers, and we may see an uptick in the market. Now, this is exactly what we saw with California a few years ago. Their home prices were so high compared with Austin's home prices back in 2019 and 2020. The price gap was so huge that we saw an influx of California buyers, and it made sense for buyers to move from California and buy a newer, much bigger home for so much less. But that led to home prices in Austin spiking up. And from 2019 to 2022, Austin was one of the fastest growing real estate markets as far as price increases. And as home prices in Austin and communities like Traviso went up, the price gap had shrunk and it became less attractive for relocation buyers. Now, with home prices having dropped over the last 3.5 years, homes in the Austin area are becoming attractive once again to relocation buyers. Now, moving on, we should look at what's happening with employment and job growth nationally, and then compare it with what's going on here in the greater Austin area. The current national unemployment rate, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, is 4.3%. If we compare that with the unemployment rate in Austin, which is 3.1%, we can see why a lot of people are choosing to move here. We do have a healthy and growing economy. We're also seeing companies continue to move here, which is great for our economy. But one thing that we're seeing in the workplace is that employers are calling in their remote employees and asking them to come back and work from the office. This does affect Austin quite a bit, as a lot of people moved here because they did have the ability to work remotely, especially for their out-of-state employers. But since they're being called back into the office, a lot of people are having to sell their homes and move back to the state where their employer is located. This is adding to the number of homes that are currently on the market, and it's taking away potential future buyers. These are people who own homes, would end up selling their homes and eventually buy another home here in the Austin market, but instead they're having to put their homes up for sale now and buying in a different market. So it's subtracting those buyers from the Austin market. All right, so here are my thoughts overall. Interest rates skyrocketed in 2022 and Austin home prices started to go up and they were incredibly high. This led to huge affordability issues and buyers basically checked out of the market. A lot of buyers are still waiting on the sidelines, so there is interest. They're just not ready to buy yet. And they're waiting for homes to become more affordable. Now, affordability is affected by home prices and also by interest rates. They're waiting for the prices to come down and they're waiting for the interest rates to come down. Now, the good thing is we have seen interest rates come down. Interest rates last year in January were at 6.9% on average. And in January of this year, they were at 6.1%. So they have come down. And as I mentioned earlier in this video, so have home prices. Objectively, homes are now more affordable than they were just a year ago. And if this trend continues, we are going to see more buyers coming back into the Austin market. According to Redfin, Zillow, and the National Association of Realtors, they are expecting a market rebound for Austin in 2027. This could mean that things stabilize in mid to late 2026, and then we have a rebound in 2027. Now, let me just state this. Nobody has a crystal ball. I don't care if you're Zillow, I don't care if you're Redfin, or even the National Association of Realtors. No one can know for sure what's going to happen in the future, but based on these leading indicators, we could be poised for a market rebound. So if you're a home buyer that's trying to time the market, 2026 could be the year to make a move before the market rebounds and more buyers rush into the market. You have the most amount of negotiating leverage that I've seen in several years right now, especially as it pertains to new construction. If you're a home seller, you have to decide to price your home to sell now, or you have to decide to wait until 2027 to sell because we might be expecting a market rebound. However, the longer that you wait, the more prices will come down. So you have to factor in that information into your decision. Should you sell now in a tougher market, but at a slightly higher price than you could sell in 2027, or should you wait to sell in 2027 and selling may be an easier process, but you're going to sell at a lower price? That's a tough decision, and it really comes down to what's best for you as far as timing and what fits your need better. All right, that is all for this video. Please let me know what you think in the comments. If you found this information and this video to be helpful, please do give it a like and make sure that you subscribe to this channel. The whole point of this channel is to help you make a better decision as it relates to real estate, whether that's buying new construction, or if you're thinking about selling. Either way, please do call me if you need any real estate advice, if you need help with buying or selling. My name is Ahmad Homidi with eXp Realty, and I'll see you in the next video.